How important is education to a nation? That's one big thing people have been asking. Do you have enough or, well, less than what you expected? Well, good morning. Welcome to Sunrise Daily. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
Good morning. I'm Maokwe Ogun.
Good morning. I'm Nel Taibi.
Well, initially we talked about, so many other things springing up, sometimes religious houses, to the extent that, well, if you marry that with what has been happening security-wise, it is, been suggested that perhaps we should have a license for people to come on the pulpit. But this time around, we're talking about schools and schools everywhere. And, the good thing is that people are getting educated, but again, some other people are getting scammed when it comes to looking for education or, perhaps, some kind of lapse from the side of the government for, ignoring what they should have done with the public schools. Well, the case in point this time is in Kaduna State, and we understand that, when you look to your left, right, center, there's school everywhere. Well, does that amount to education? That's the big question now.
Well, is it almost the same situation as you have with churches in some areas, where almost every nook and cranny is a church? But to the point of schools, I mean, no one will question the proliferation of schools if it was delivering on the quality that it should deliver on. And I think that is where we have to ask questions here, not just in Kaduna State, even though that's where we're taking our example from this morning, but all over the country. If you look at some schools, even from the structure that you see outside, you wonder, do we have a body that even sets standards? That is, okay, as a government, maybe we don't have enough. If you want to come in, this is what you must have. I mean, just the same way the NUC does for universities, the NUC goes around universities accrediting and ensuring standardization. That's the reason why we have the National Universities Commission. At the state level, where we have the secondary schools and we have the primary schools, I understand local governments are supposed to take care of the primary schools. But do we have any such body that ensures a particular standard for both secondary and primary schools? And I think that if we cannot get the basics right, it's no wonder that we're beginning to complain about the quality of education, even though our schools, there are schools and schools everywhere. If we don't take care of certain things, but someone will say, Malkwe, why are you surprised? If the quality of education in public schools has fallen only and simply because of decay over the years, government neglect to that particular fundamental part of any society, given its young ones education. Why do you think that any group to ensure standardization will work as well? Because at some point too, it would simply be a question of, why don't you pay this person, and then those schools can exist in space for all they care, and nobody will ever go there to even see the quality of the schools. Assuming you're a parent and you maybe by some chance and for some reason you have to send your child to a particular school, say a neighborhood school around you, and you get there and you don't like what you see, who can you complain to? Is there a body that parents can complain to? I don't know of any such body, maybe because I'm not a parent yet. But these are questions that we should ask ourselves as a people, again as a government. What exactly are we doing right to ensure that standards are kept both at our primary level and the secondary level, which is the basic level where people can take education and not bother about going to the secondary, about the universities, where they can proceed from there and go to the technical colleges.
That is enough.
Exactly, and that the quality that they have is good enough to take them through life.
One wonders we have different commissions in the country. You talked about what agency of government is there that monitors the quality of education that's gotten in the primary and secondary school? We have the UBEC, Universal Basic Education Commission, that's supposed to cater for, and I stand to be corrected, it's supposed to cater for the
primary education.
Ensuring
that every child gets an education.
There used to be a secondary school a commission that's supposed to take care of the quality of education in the secondary school. I don't know if it's still exact. Don't even remember the name anymore. But the problem is not just about the fact that there's no commission. It's the fact that the dedication to education seems to have been lost.
It's now a business.
It's now about a business. Yes, there are a few people who set up schools because they are dedicated to education. They want to see, some of them set up business because of their children. They want to see my children get quality education. So let them start from me. Let me be the one to train. So I go look for get the permissions and set up the school so that I can start from training my own children. And if any other parents would like to send their children to my school, fine, let them come and we can do the same thing and get them to get good quality education. But that dedication, you hardly find it. Because some people just set up the schools because, hey, it's another business. I mean, what's wrong with having like 15 schools in the city and just as far as money is rolling in? No problem. But about the quality that comes out. No wonder we continue to get failure rates in our examinations in WAEC, in GC, in NECO. And guess what? More exams will be coming up, and we'll be having this kind of quality because, first of all, we'll say the West African Examinations Council is not doing what it's supposed to. So let's have NECO to make up for it. Then next one, we used to be GC.
You're talking about failure rates. In those type of schools, usually what happens is that they ensure that their students pass. Through whatever means, not through educating them, but through whatever means they can, they make sure that those students make it.
When dedication here, I talked about dedication in the sense that, first of all, let's look at the issue of parents. Dedication to the education of their children. They do that. They seek for every possible means to ensure that their children get education, whether right or wrong. Even if they have to pay for the children to pass and move on to the next level, some parents do that. But some other parents take out time to sit with their children and ensure that they do their homework. That's one side. The other side is dedication on the part of government officials. On the part of government, who are supposedly parents. Check. How many government officials have their children in those public schools? And even in the private schools as we speak. How many?
Well, I think the big question here is, is it business for the entrepreneurs to make money, maximize profit, or is it all about imparting knowledge to the people? But if you look at it, in 1984, 85, a bit of statistics here, more than 13 million pupils attended almost 35,000 public primary schools in the country. At the secondary school level, 4 million students were attending the 6,500 schools, while about 125,000 post-secondary school levels students were attending the 35 colleges and universities at that point in time. But now it has risen, and they say they're a little bit worried. What about those schools you find around marketplaces, motor parks, and some other places so unconducive for learning? Who actually watches over all of these? Is it about money, getting the license, and the inspectors are back to the offices? Or perhaps there are no inspectors. Who are the teachers in some of these privately owned schools? What kind of qualification do they have? Do you have one around your neighborhood that you think perhaps is not up to standard? Who should be speaking up? Let's take a look at this.
This is one of the government schools in Kaduna State, a state known as the center of learning in Nigeria, owing to its rich academic history. But pictures like this contradict the tag Center of Learning, which Kaduna has been christened. Last year, the state ranked low in the WAEC and NECO examinations.
Between 2007 to 2011, the performance of students was almost around 10%. But last year we recorded 14% really. So there's an increment.
Many children roam the streets, neglecting what used to be the pride of the state, education. After all, the state of infrastructure in what should be their schools have not helped their situation. Little wonder the latest trend, or rather the latest business, is the operation of private schools.
The proliferation of school will continue if nothing is done by the Ministry of Education and the private school board. We have cried several times to let the government know that even people who are not qualified teachers should stop establishing schools, all in the name of trying to make money. Because instead of improving the educational standard, they help to kill the system.
Those in authority that are called government have encouraged the emergence of private schools. Today, we pay with our nose in private school, allowing the public school to suffer. And whose fault is government?
As it is today, government alone cannot really provide education. And that is why it is really partnering with the private sector. And the responsibility of the government is to see that the public schools are really function very well.
Those with the resources are taking advantage of the situation to operate schools without approval from the State Education Board. Besides, no official from the board appears to be monitoring this trend.
What makes them illegal is that they've not been approved by the government, but they have their names there. For instance, if I want to open a school and I have it in a garage, and you come and inspect, and the school has not been approved, and yet I'm paying money to the Ministry of Education, and they are collecting, it means that school has illegally been approved. There is an illegal approval.
So many of the operators are not really following, because that's why we are having lots of illegal school operators across, the state, really, because many of them are not really registered with the private schools board as stipulated, by law, and we are really compiling the names of such schools.
So, what is the way forward? Well, the state government has promised to review the law for the establishment of private schools.
The law, as it is, today, is deficient in certain areas, and that's why we are doing the best that we can use it to really review it, so that those areas, of lapses, can really be addressed, so that the board can be strengthened.
The Kaduna state government presently operates a free universal basic education policy, and 25% of the state budget is committed to the education sector. Hopefully, the state government will have to do more in this direction if the situation must be improved.
I really can't imagine.
I remember,
was that a desk or a table? I don't know, or a seat or a chair?
Wonderful. I don't. I just remember the name of the commission I was trying to. The Post-Primary School Management Board.
Well, even if they do exist, perhaps they should also tell the people what exactly is happening. The Federal Ministry of Education, especially at this point in time, should speak up. And those inspectors that we once had, if they're still in existence, perhaps they should also let people in on what exactly is happening. Not a good sight to see children sit on the floor to get education. I wonder where the teachers actually seated. But all the same, time for us to move to the newsroom. She's got a seat. Well, congratulations. You're not sitting on the floor.
No, and I'm sure you'll be having yours very soon.
All right. All right, again, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the headlines. The Joint Task Force, JTF, is intensifying its war against the militant group Boko Haram. In a renewed crusade yesterday, the JTF killed 4 Boko Haram members in Gaidam local government area of Yobe State, that's in northeast of Nigeria. Meanwhile, another move by the militant group